So, unique selling points. There is no slide for this, by the way. Slower. Unique selling points. The clue, ladies and gentlemen, is in the title. They're unique selling points. So unique, it means it's a way of differentiating what you are selling to what everybody else is selling. So it's a reason for people to come to you instead of everybody else. So if somebody says to you, what are your USPs, and you reel off the same thing as everybody else, they're not USPs, they're SPs. Not USPs, okay? They're selling points. They're intended to sell the product. And that means that the outcome of it is that somebody gives you a wad of cash and says, I'll have that, please. Okay? That's the selling bit. And they're points. Points means they are brief and short and sweet, and there are not many of them. It's not a story tale. Now, am I starting to ring a few bells with people? Yes, if you think about your USPs, well, are they actually fulfilling these things? Most websites I go on to for tour operators, they tell stories. They don't really put it in an imaginative way that makes me want it. They're just giving me information. And they're not giving me anything that divides people or sets people apart. I'm not able to differentiate. So I really need to get this right. Okay? Now, what is the heart of a USP? Well, it's a reason for somebody to want to buy. And a reason is usually because that person needs something. So it's all about addressing people's needs. And in order to do that, you've got to identify what the need is. So, for instance, if I was to think of a USP for this pen that I'm holding here, I need to think about, okay, well, what is it that will make somebody want it? Well, I personally, when I go out shopping, and I'm looking for something like this, I need something that is going to last a bit longer than the ones I generally buy, because I get through these like no tomorrow. So I want something that's durable and long lasting. Okay? And the trick here is to use sustainability, the concept of sustainability, to do that. Well, durability, sustainability, long term, actually that's lending itself already to me conjuring up a selling point about this pen. So the need is, I want some longevity. Okay? What's going to give it longevity? Well, it might be the refill, but it's something about the refill that's going to make it last. It's not any bigger than any other pen. But this particular pen, and these have lasted me ages, so actually this is a real life scenario. This pen won't make me faint. If I smell it, actually I can't smell anything. And the reason I can't smell anything is because it's water-based. Whereas the vast majority of these are solvent-based, like alcohol or something along those lines, which means that that evaporates really fast when you take the top off, and they don't last as long. So the feature that's giving me my need is water-based. That's the feature. You got it? Now then, how does that benefit me? Well, it benefits me because it's long lasting, it won't dry out. Okay? It will give me a lot of use. That's the benefit I get out of it. So I've identified the need, I've seen the feature that's going to provide that, and the real benefit is that it's going to last. And the benefit and the need sometimes are very sort of wrapped all up into one thing. Okay? People use USPs in the high street constantly to get you to buy things that you don't need. Always. How many of you have actually got at home items sitting there and you look at them and you think, what on earth possessed you to buy that? I'll tell you what possessed you to buy it was a very carefully crafted USP. And some of them are visual rather than textual, but they still work. So, if the need isn't there, you have to make it. You have to raise the need. You have to make somebody want it. Okay?
Yes.
So, if you can't identify it, you raise the need. And this is where the features and benefits really start to work, because the benefit, if you get a really good benefit, people will say, oh yeah, oh wow, I really can't live without that. They weren't looking for it because they don't go around looking for things that benefit them. They actually go looking for things that are a bit different, a bit unique, a bit quirky. So if you can roll that up into the benefit, all the better. So we need to find a benefit that's going to make us want it. And the benefit, as we've just seen, is going to arise out of a feature of whatever it is we're trying to sell. Now, the sad thing is that whilst many businesses do understand this, it goes horribly wrong because they go a little bit over the top with it. So, they've put lots and lots of benefits in there. So, it'll do this for you, it'll do that for you, it'll do this for you, it'll do that for you. And then they have to start putting in the things that show where those benefits come from. So you put in this feature and that feature and this feature, and all of a sudden you've got all of this story, and the customer cannot make any connection between which benefit goes with which feature, and they lose complete understanding of it, and it becomes nonsense. So the key to writing an excellent USP is to make sure that there is only ever one of those, and there's only ever one of those. But don't assume that the customer will still attach them together. Sometimes you need to make that connection for them, and we call this the link, and it sits at here. And the link is usually something very, very straightforward and simple that just literally puts these two things together to make people associate it in their head. It's all about psychology, this. You know, if you want to sell, go and do a psychology course. You'll sell much better at the end of it, honestly, because you can tap into what goes on inside people's heads. So, one benefit, one feature, and a link. But we're going to use sustainability because it's creative, it appeals to people. Sustainability can tackle hidden emotions because you've got things that really start to activate the senses, things that you can see, things that you can touch, things that you can taste and you can hear. These are things that are sort of memories, things that you'll never see anywhere else. You know, authentic things, new experiences, exciting adventures, cultural experiences. You know, you've got so much to draw on from the world of sustainability that will colour these really well. So it's not about sustainability USPs. They're USPs, but you use sustainability to make them sell for you. You use the sustainability angle, okay? So you want to make them imaginative, and creative, but try to make sure that it's something that is identifying the thing that makes you different, because people want something that's unusual. And these are the things that switch people off when you are selling to them. Okay? And there are two particular traps in tourism that switch people off. What do you think they are?
Saying too much, praising yourself too much.
Yes, self-praise, that might switch people off. Beefing yourself up because they can't really relate to that. That's a good one.
Why?
A lie, yeah, something that they can see through. These are sort of these are examples of greenwashing you're coming out with. So you need to think about that sort of scenario when you're doing it. But there's some things which are even more no-nos than this. What don't people want to think about when they buy something, but is inevitable in the process? The price. They don't want to think about the price, the cost, whether it's cheap. If it's cheap, it might not be good quality. So, you do not talk, in a USP, you do not mention price, cost, anything of that nature. Okay? You can talk about value. That's a different angle. And the other thing that is a real no-no, I'm saying price now instead of price. Price and safety is the other thing. Okay? Do not mention safety in a USP. Why? Because if you say, we have an excellent safety record, people are going to say, well, why is there some danger involved in this? Come with us, we have insurance. Oh my God, this is a dangerous thing. You've got to be very careful about that. Think about these two things. If you avoid those, then you'll come out with a much better list of USPs. They should be short and sweet, one sentence, two at the very most. But the best USPs, it's one sentence. USPs are the highlights. You can tell the tale. You can sell the trip afterwards underneath the USPs, but giving a description of what people do. If you want to tell people, day one we do this, day two we do that, that's the itinerary. All our guides are recruited locally, which means that they know the destination better than anyone. So, the feature is locally recruited guides. That's the feature. The benefit is that you can't get any better information. That's the benefit. This is the best you're ever going to get. And the link is just this, which means that simple, isn't it? Or so it seems. Second one, all restaurants in our accommodations purchase fresh produce grown or reared locally. Okay? So, the feature is fresh produce grown or reared locally. That's the feature. The benefit is an authentic taste of the destination. I really like that, to bring you an authentic taste of the destination. I can feel my mouth watering already, I'm not even there. Now that's appealing to some other sense, and it's going to excite some centres of the brain that just talking to me about a routine doesn't do. And the link here is to bring you one feature, one benefit. One feature, one benefit. And and a link. It's really as simple as that. And it's imaginative, creative, and there's things in there that are conveying sustainability. Local produce, local guides,